calm music going.
It's making me sleepy.
It is. Well, it's a good thing because people may be fired up.
Fired up.
Where is he? Oh, I just looked and he wasn't there.
Music put him to sleep.
So we're talking about let's all complain for a little bit because we're all in this together. Yes, we'll call it venting or griping.
Yeah.
We're talking about Zoom fatigue.
Yeah.
And now that we've been doing this a year, we're all in the Brady Bunch boxes. Everyone, you know, if whatever kind of work you're in or school, a lot of people doing virtual meetings, which are getting annoying. And do we have that story queued up?
Vicky Wynn?
Yeah. It was pretty short and sweet. But is it Stanford has been looking at the psychology?
Not Walker, the university.
Not Stanford Walker. She's watching it. One of our loyal viewers. But Stanford University is looking at the psychology of what like staring at each other in these boxes is doing to us. So watch this.
One of the reasons we're so bogged down, all of those eyes staring back at us.
It's as if everyone in the elevator stopped looking at their feet or at their phones, and all of them turned and stared right at you.
And because we're talking through webcams, those small and effortless nonverbal cues, like a slight smile to show approval, aren't easily observed, forcing us to exaggerate with a thumbs up or a dramatic nod. After hours of Zoom calls, that can cause our brains to feel beat. Another culprit, you. That mirrored image of yourself during meetings may make you more critical of your appearance and actions.
It's stressful, and it causes us to have negative emotions.
And of course, there's the strain on mobility.
And when I'm on a video call, I'm forced to sit in this cone, this field of view of the camera.
Oh, sorry about that. It must have cut out.
It sure did.
Anyway, you guys get the point. You know, like we're
More
all
griping.
Yeah, staring at
There
each
you go.
other. Like normally our morning meetings to like share story ideas and kind of pick what we're doing for our like reporter team during the day is in a conference room like most of you guys, you know, are familiar with. And you're looking down, you're looking up at a whiteboard, you're, you know, talking to each other. You're not like staring into the eyeballs of all your coworkers and looking at yourself. Rod, see, the raising of the hand, that's also weird, right?
I'm going to be on the opposite end of the spectrum and say, now, if we have, in the normal days, I had to get out of my chair, which is actually quite comfortable, and walk over there into the conference room and then sit, and then everybody sees you. But in the Zoom meetings, at least here at KGW, for the most part, they don't really require that you turn your camera on.
No.
So you can sit there and really not even be paying attention and go ahead and get things done, and people don't really know, and they think you're in the Zoom meeting, but really you're not.
Oh,
so I would say there are some positives.
We know with you because honestly, Rodney is hilarious. He has the most awkward Zoom angles of anybody on our
Zoom?
video.
I beg your pardon?
He will put that camera right up his nose, and he's busy working, and we get all kinds of angles on his face. I don't even know.
I like
So
the face.
so I thought I was hidden, and now you're telling me that basically you've been making fun of me for the past year.
He knows he's seen and he likes being seen. Here's what, before we say anything more about our Zoom habits, I thought we could have some fun with the viewers real quick.
Okay.
So 2 questions for our viewers. You can answer at your leisure, and we'll get back to your answers as we move along here. But of the current crop of sunrisers that you see on your screen right here, now that we take us away.
What?
Why are we showing this comment
Scared
right
of
now?
what you're going to say.
No. I'm asking our viewers a question.
Okay.
Who do you think among these 4 people that you're looking at is most likely to keep their Zoom box completely dark during a Zoom meeting? Ooh. So one of us I know does this more frequently than the rest of us. So which one of us do you think keeps their Zoom box dark during most meetings? And
That's a good question.
Thank you. And which one of us? Don't answer yet, Rod. I'm going to let the viewers answer. And or to give away the answer, which one of us is most likely to start speaking without unmuting themselves during a Zoom meeting? Because I feel like there is one of us that does that quite often as well. So those are the 2 Zoom categories. I want you to guess which of these characters is most likely to commit either of those Zoom habits.
I have to say, Drew, you get the award for Best Zoom Colleague. Because as you can kind of tell, he always makes us laugh.
Yeah.
So your Zoom calls are usually not totally boring.
Not everyone. For some reason, Brenda, I make you laugh. I don't know why that is. More than other people, you seem to laugh. You laugh more than my wife laughs at me. You laugh more than Nina laughs at me. Thank you, Brenda.
Let me just say, I hate Zoom calls.
You hate them.
But you know what I think it is? I really started to deconstruct this after we asked this question this morning for Sunrise Extra. I don't like meetings because I think no matter whether you're in person or on Zoom, they go on too long.
Yeah.
I'm like, we could cover this in half the time.
I don't like long meetings. Yeah, you got to nip it in the bud. But I think, like meetings the way we used to have them, especially for creative purposes, serve a very important function. And like we used to, really kind of gel off of each other's ideas of like, hey, what if we went and shot a story about this? And someone else just randomly gets an idea and chimes in and says, yeah, and you could shoot it this way. And you're like, yes, that's a great idea. And that, interaction and kind of spark does not happen on Zoom.
I think it's easier not to care, basically, on Zoom.
Exactly.
As opposed to if you're at the table eating a donut. If I'm eating a donut like the old days when we could do that, I always care.
You'll sit through
I'm
anything
engaged, man.
if we give you a donut. That is true.
Because you're less likely to chime. It's so silent,
Right.
that you don't want to be. It feels like you better have something really, good to say when you unmute and you like interrupt the speaker or you talk into the void of the Zoom call, and then you hit mute and then it's totally silent again. For a reaction, and you just are like, oh, this is so awful.
Yeah, you all know it because we do have a 9:30 a.m. call that some of us get on, each day. We don't have to get on that call every day. It's not a sunrise call. It's the station call every day at 9:30, big Zoom call. So
That's like 50 people.
Yeah, we're talking dozens of people. And there's that awkward moment near the beginning of every one of those meetings where the news director says, what are you guys thinking about today? What do you want to talk about? What
it's
news
just
should we
like
cover?
crickets.
And it's just crickets. And I think part of that is people have ideas. They just don't know if they should go first or they don't want to be always the first person to go. But the bottom line is there are many seconds of deadness right there.
I know.
And it's awkward.
I hate that awkwardness. And for that reason, like, I'll only get on that call if I really have like nothing else going on or the boss asked me to.
Wow,
Because
really?
it gets so awkward at points that I just like, I don't like seeing that.
And who doesn't mind awkward silence? If I don't have anything to say, we'll just let that hang.
Yeah, I don't like awkward silence.
I
Drew,
know
I'm
you
anxious
don't.
to get your answers. When are you going to give us the answers, Drew, to your question?
Well, I was letting people chime in, the viewers, and
All
people
right.
are chiming in, and they're just saying names, so I don't know if they're, who they're suggesting does what. But the question was, which one of us four is most likely to keep their box dark during a Zoom meeting? Because one of us does that often, I find.
We have a couple guesses on that one.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and read them?
Nina was one.
Yeah.
I was the other. And then same with you, they're splitting. Drew is the one who talks over mute, and so is Rod. So people are kind of split.
We should tell you the answer. Brenda, I've noticed that you, in every Zoom meeting we do at 7:45 after the show is over, you keep your screen
I
dark.
don't think Brenda has ever once.
Yeah.
Have you ever been?
I don't
Seen
remember
during the Zoom
camera?
call?
ever seeing Brenda.
I have another meeting that the station does, and I do have my camera on for that. But for you guys, no, you see enough of me.
And then the person I think who most frequently talks before they unmute themselves is the weather guy.
Well, but wait a minute. That's because at times I would, our EP Celeste would have to tell me to mute myself because I think I was making noise or eating or something. So then I started always muting myself to be polite, but then I forget to unmute when they come to me for my big moment.
You run afoul both ways. You're unmuted when you should be muted, and then you're muted when you should be unmuted.
Well, if you want to
can't
put it
get
that
it
way,
right.
yeah.
Tina Carlson is commiserating with us on those awkward silences on the Zoom meeting. She says, I hate going first. Too much pressure.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, it's often when you say something, and I get typically in a face-to-face meeting, if you gave a suggestion or pitched a story idea, there'd be some kind of reaction. At least you'd hear like a couple of or oh yeah, even if it was silent and
Right.
soft. But when you
Yes.
pitch a story idea on Zoom and everyone's got their mics muted and it's silent, you're thinking, oh God, they hate my idea.
Yeah, you
My
jumped
idea
to the
was
worst
terrible.
conclusion.
Yep.
Paul Kenny says in the real world, silence means disapproval.
Yeah.
On Zoom, it's like being judged all the time.
Yes.
Even though we're just fumbling to get to the, the mute button so we can go, yes.
Hey, Renee Robertson, I saw your comment earlier. She did guess correctly. She said Brenda was the one not showing her face, and Rod was the one talking before unmuting.
We have a lot of kind of new members on our Sunrise team for all of you viewers watching. We have two brand new producers who just moved here from Texas and Georgia. And we have another producer who is working remotely from her home state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we have a new reporter, Bryant Clerkley, who joined us, and a new engineer. And so I was trying to make this like, we all don't know each other, and a lot of people are working out of the building and whatever. And so I said, okay, for our after show call at 7:45, like let's all turn our cameras on it because it's loose. This, the pressure's off of time and all that stuff. And yeah, it is Brenda. That's always the one that's
Let me just say this.
But she's walking
Let
around.
me just explain
Yes.
a tiny bit more. Because when you get done with the show, you do franchise stuff, you do other things. You don't have a noon deadline typically staring at you. And that's what I find is my day is chunked up into so many little things like cut-ins, and then I have to start something else, and then there's a 9:30 meeting, and then I've got to at 10 o'clock do the DBL, which airs during Daily Blast Live. And so I've got all these weird deadlines, and I'm thinking, especially if the meeting doesn't apply to me, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
I cannot be here for this. So I'm always like, it's the wheel. That's what
I
I'm
love
thinking.
that you almost swore, though. That was exciting.
Hey,
It's good time management, though, because I'll go to all the meetings.
I've been very good with my four-letter words.
Really
I don't
good,
do
but
that
It's close.
here.
Carolyn Morgan loves Zoom. She says, love Zoom. Now, there's good reason for Zoom. We're talking about we're all in the same building, right? But she's talking about don't miss the travel time and from off-site meetings, but I do miss the connection and on-planned networking, she says. But I really wonder, are the days of big companies, putting their employees on a regular basis on an airplane, are we going to see those types of business trips really shrink forever, right? Because now you can do all this video conferencing or Zoom. I would think so.
Yeah.
Right?
I
But
think it's
maybe
going to
not.
shrink down, a lot. And
Tracy-
then when you want to show a client, you really are into them, or they're a really high-profile client, you'll fly out to meet them, or you'll fly them in, or whatever. But I think it's.
Well, that's Tracy Thompson. She says, I used to travel 70% of my job. I miss
wow.
seeing people and colleagues around the country, but not airport hassles.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to traveling again, anywhere.
I think like one-on-one Zooms or like smalls, we've had like little Zoom calls with just 3 people, and those are totally fine because you can leave your mic kind of, open the whole time, and it's very casual, and it's actually kind of fun because you can joke around. But when it grows to a bigger amount of people and all those little boxes are in there, that's when it gets just silent and awkward.
See, that's when I like it because you can get lost. You don't show yourself.
I guess, yeah.
You get credit for being there, but you weren't really there.
Yeah.
So you know what? At the 7:45 meeting today, I'm gonna be on camera because
don't do
we
that.
have this training that they did put a camera on my big computer because usually I'm just on my phone with it.
Okay.
So I don't have to see all those boxes. I'm like, okay, who's talking? Just kind of scroll through. You don't have to see
On your
everybody.
phone. Yeah.
I will tell you that I think really, obviously moving forward, I do think the Zoom meeting is better if we're talking. I know it's more awkward in the bigger groups, like you were saying a moment ago, Nina. But if we had like an all-station meeting, all departments, business, news, engineering, and everyone had to come together for a reason, I'd rather do that on Zoom, right? Because then you can just sit at your desk, keep your camera off, listen to, say, the general manager speak about whatever the topic is, and get all the information you need without having to go down to the auditorium, cram in there together.
Kind of fun, though.
No, it's not. I get in there late, and I'm like, who's that? I don't know who that person is. Now I'm going to introduce myself, and this is awkward, and I don't know. I didn't like it.
What about the
too crowded.
treats?
Totally
there was
with
always
Drew on
treats.
There wasn't always treats.
Treats usually
For
weren't
every
that
station
great.
meeting? Not every station meeting. I like the Zoom for the
famous
big group meetings where we can all sort of get in there, find out the information, and get out.
Yeah.
Connie Staub Miller, Drew.
Yes.
This is good. She
Stabby.
says, have any of you not dressed? I assume you mean not dressed up from the waist down. Either underwear or pajamas. We would not come to work in our
yeah,
underwear.
we're not
My
walking
bet
around.
is Drew has. LOL.
I think she's thinking about a lot of people
Like
who do
at
Zoom
home?
from home, right?
Oh.
Because they're working at home, but we're already in the office.
Oh, okay.
So we have to be.
Well, we know that you used to wear your PJs when you were at your home weather center.
You guys did notice that. Did I show that off
No,
one
you
time?
talked about it.
Like I had my nice little
fairly frequently.
flannel bottoms, and they were so comfy.
Jeez.
Yeah, my little.
I'm wearing everything. Got the full complement of clothing this morning. Now, if you want to pan down, Brian, the desk is not covering me. These are work pants work shoes.
You look very nice.
But I have worn my warm-up sometimes, even into the studio. You guys have seen that look.
Absolutely.
That's a
I'm in my
comfortable
black
feel.
leggings right now. I have on my Nike flip-flops
Right now?
Yeah, Brenda wears she doesn't wear heels anymore.
or my
Yes, it-
Uggs.
All right,
wear
let's
Uggs
come
and
clean.
flip-flops.
Rod Hill is currently wearing a thong. Show it, Rodney.
Oh,
My 2 days working from home, I kept like pajama pants on and slippers. It was great.
I think Brenda is the only one in this group who has not done not a single work from home day during the pandemic. Is that
Oh,
right,
is that
Brenda
right,
Braxton?
Brenda? That is right, isn't it?
that is correct.
Well, yeah. I always had my house slippers on. I mean, I never put socks and shoes on when I was at home. It was always my house slippers.
House slippers.
Yeah.
Describe them for me,
Well, I have
please.
those little, they're supposed to be, I think it's fake. They call it lambskin, but I think it's fake. Just the fuzzy wuzzy stuff inside.
Does it have a backing? You slip your feet in with a backing
Yeah, it's
there?
like ankle high.
They're like Ugg slippers.
Yeah, kind of ankle high, yeah, with the fuzzy wuzzies inside.
Nice.
I like the fuzzy wuzzies on my toes.
I do run around barefoot though. I run every morning between the studio and the newsroom a bunch of times because
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
writing different stuff.
That's your feet
and I
that
wear
do
heels out here because the proportion to this monitor just looks a lot better if I'm
Yeah.
taller. And so to run and to not make noise in the studio and to be faster, I take my shoes off and I run barefoot into the newsroom.
It's just more efficient.
I'll tell you something about that, a little behind the scenes. When you run, you're a loud runner. Like when your feet
I
are doing.
am?
Yes, I can. Sometimes I'm in the men's restroom, which you run by
my
to get
mic
to.
packs.
No, it's your
maybe.
feet.
I
It's like
feel
thump,
like
thump, thump, thump. And you're not a large
I'm
person.
running.
But when you're running, you sound like
With
you could be a
purpose.
linebacker in the NFL.
Oh my gosh.
Lovely.
She's a loud runner. You're a loud typer. Sometimes when I'm like
You
talking
are a
on-
loud typer.
Yeah.
I am too, though. You know, I can recognize that in you because I'm a.
All the power
get
of
after
10
it.
fingers is coming out of 2 fingers for me. So it's a thump, 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 thump.
But you know, we started
Burrito.
this whole Zoom conversation because, as you mentioned at the top, Stanford University is studying this,
Yes.
and they're saying that these disconnected Zoom meetings are taking a toll on your mental health. I'd be curious if anybody out there feels like that, like it's just getting to you.
Yeah.
It's starting to wear you down mentally.
Yeah.
Do you guys
You
feel
are
that?
always
or-
kind of like checking yourself out, you know, like
Yeah.
am I sitting up straight? Like Rod doesn't care because he just shoves it up his nose. But you know, like when you're looking at the monitor of yourself, and that's not good. You know, you're maybe not. It's kind of like when you're FaceTiming someone. You know, like probably 75% of the time you're looking at the little box in the corner.
Okay, does anybody else out there, do you remember like decades ago? So you have to be kind of one of my boomer friends. Do you remember like the thought of a phone call where you could see somebody was like science fiction?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh,
I
yes,
remember
yeah,
my mom would say, oh my God, I'm so glad nobody can see me. You know, because we're talking on the phone or she's talking to her friend and she's like, you know, just rolled out of bed. And then now we have to worry about that. Isn't there a thing too, Nina, you would know this. I mean, not that you do this, but you would know this because you're up on everything, that like people are going to plastic surgeons and saying, you know, I want this Zoom, I mean, it's kind of Zoom based. It's like, I don't like the way
boom
my
in
nose looks
plastic
on those
surgery,
Zoom
yeah.
calls, or I don't like, you know, my double chin. And so they're actually having plastic surgery because of the Zoom phenomenon.
I wonder if it's because of Zoom
That's
or
what they're
it's
saying.
Yeah, they're
because
saying that.
you are home and you have recovery time where people don't have to see you or know that you had that surgery because you don't have to take days off out of the office.
Perhaps
No,
it's a
I think-
combination.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, totally. But
Yeah.
I do think when people see themselves all the time, you start to nitpick.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know we've gotten press releases from doctors, you know, offering some satellite interview about that or whatever.
That's crazy.
What's
Yeah.
up, Rod?
Joshua Madrid has
Yeah.
spoken. Joshua, we always read Joshua. He's been with
Joshua.
us every day for I don't know how long. Joshua says, good morning. Love Zoom. Got to do many Zoom cocktail hours for companies all across the country while I wasn't working. Very
How does
grateful
that
for
work?
that. Does that mean he's like showing companies how to make cocktails?
And then you all get the
Maybe.
ingredients you would have to.
Oh,
and you
maybe.
just mix
Okay,
them.
that's cool.
Yeah, Joshua's a
wherever you are.
bartender, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that idea. Marita
right.
on
All right.
YouTube is saying, I don't like that Zoom cuts out sometimes. I really don't mind it all that much. I just want my son back in school.
Yeah.
All the kids need that. And she
Yeah,
says, you all are
absolutely.
so funny. Are we?
Director Brian brought up a great point. He
Yes.
just told me in my ear. He said Zoom backgrounds.
Yeah.
People who are obsessed with what's behind them.
Well, Jeannie Carlson asked that question,
They get
Brenda.
creative.
Jeannie Carlson was asking who among us changes their background at all. I don't think any of us use a background, right?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't even know how to do it, to be honest with you. How to create the background on my Zoom page.
Yeah.
And then Paul Kinney, who works here, Paul's the guy that I always have a tough time.
Oh, Brian means who really goes out of their way to set up the actual background of their home or their office, for instance, so it looks
for
really
that.
good behind them.
Well, I don't want to show something that looks bad. I'll be mindful of it. I'm not going to change anything.
We noticed you had all your Emmys. I mean, all your Emmys on display during your home weather
Well,
shots.
at first
Rod.
I did, and then people complained about that, so I moved them.
It
They
feels
did.
like
They
kind of
complained.
braggy.
I don't know.
Yeah, it
God
does.
darn it, I'm 59 years old. I have only a few things in my life I can brag about. All right, so
not
Paul
true.
Kinney says the invasion of our home space means there's no boundary between work and home mentally, which I suppose that's a good point, right?
This stopped that years ago. The cell phone is what got rid of that boundary, I think, years ago, right? The fact
Yeah,
that we
because
would
now you can answer emails and calls when you're off. And that's
emails on our phone, how great. No, it's terrible. It's one of the worst things that's ever happened to us as a human race.
Is
We
what,
got
the cell phone?
The fact that we now have email access all the time in our pocket. Used to leave work and I guess I'll get to those emails tomorrow.
I
No,
don't
you'll
put
get
it
to
on
them.
my phone. I have not crossed that boundary. I'm
Really?
like,
That's why he never
I
knows
don't have it on my
anything that's
phone.
going on.
I do have it on my laptop. So if I really need to check something, I can do it on my laptop.
You don't
but
even
I do
need
not
the app.
have
You
it
can
on
just
my
dial in through a website.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Yeah.
But there's no
Okay,
way a reporter can get away with that. I'm sorry, Brent. There's no way a reporter at our station can get away with that move that Rod's dodged for 20 years. They can't not have their email on their phone. They just can't.
What's
Rob
that?
does what
See,
he
I
wants.
know what's going on. I just look up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I
No, he
better get to the
doesn't.
station.
He doesn't know.
Okay, I have a brainstorm.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if the powers that be, I'm sure they would put the big kibosh on it.
Oh.
I think we should have Joshua Madrid on. And I think he should be
agree.
in one of the boxes. And I think that we should pick a Sunrise Extra cocktail of the day.
Yes.
And I think they should clear us from the rest of the day. Somebody else can fill in for the noon and do the cut-ins.
Yes.
But we can make cocktails. And maybe we could go a little longer with Sunrise Extra.
Yes.
Right?
Well, we missed that opportunity on Monday. It was National Margarita Day.
Well, there's always, we can make our own
You
day.
just make it up.
Make the day.
Joshua, are you in?
I love this.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
I think
I
he would
want to
do
do
that.
it. I think
think he
that'd
would
be
love to do
awesome.
that.
What do you think, Josh? What should we make?
You know, I do miss the parties, like the actual in-person parties and gatherings. I promise you this,
Yes.
when this all settles down, maybe
Yes.
it's the year 2025, who
Yes.
knows?
Yes.
But when it all settles down, there's going to be a party at my house, a sunrise get-together, because I look outside my backyard, because we've only been there for a couple of years. And last summer wasn't a very good summer for partying. This summer may not be either. But I look at there and I go, man, I would love to have the gang over, like you had, Rod, a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Remember Rod had that party? We've done it one time in 10 years.
Yeah.
We had a sunrise party outside of work where we just let our hair down and had fun together.
You stayed longer than anybody.
Probably longer than I should have, right?
It was quite a while before we left.
And you remember back in the day, for the big grand opening of the Pioneer Square studio, we opened up the studio and people
like an
came to
open
visit
house.
us.
Oh,
Yeah.
One day we'll get back to
We
that.
gotta
I wanna
go,
play
I
air
think.
hockey, Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Today's
Oh,
show
my
cut
We could do
Please.
foosball, air hockey, ping pong, or pool.
Yeah.
Billiards. All those options
Also
exist.
known as billiards.
We're out of time.
All right, you guys, we got to go for today's show cut-ins. Thanks for weighing in with us. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.